Cardinal Goh gave this interview on EWTN, and Michael Hayes republished a clip of the video on X, and I just thought I'd play you this clip because it is really interesting. It is really telling that a cardinal would be so frank about how Pope Francis operated. It's interesting. Let's just listen to this video anyway, because I thought it is excellent what Cardinal Goh was saying.
Unfortunately, at the same time, because I think in his desire to reach out to all, there is ambiguity in some of his teachings with regards to the question of Amoris Laetitia, the question of communion, to the divorce, and to the civil marriage. And so these were issues that were actually dividing the church. So on one hand, he has brought the church together, and he has truly appealed to people of different levels of faith. On the other hand, those who try to be faithful to the gospel themselves are confused. Even bishops are confused, including cardinals. We are confused as to exactly what is the church teaching with respect to certain moral issues. And it does not help also because some of the announcements just came from the press, and we hear it from the media directly, and we do not know exactly what was the context of what he has said. And so we find ourselves struggling to explain to the people exactly where the stand of the church is with respect to certain doctrines. So I think Pope Leo, and I hope and I believe that he would be the person to try to balance orthodoxy and being progressive. But I think there is a certain balance. Being traditional is not wrong. Going back to the orthodoxy of the church is not wrong. But at the same time, Pope Francis has reminded us, yes, we need to know the truth, we need to live up to the ideals of the gospel, but at the same time, we are not asking the church to be too legalistic about our moral doctrines. In a sense, in terms of practice, yes, there are some who are struggling. We must have compassion. But I think what is important is that being compassionate is one thing, but being clear of our stand is one thing. I don't ever believe that we should reduce the gospel to suit the world. The gospel is the way, the truth, and the life.
Right.
What we should do is try to communicate the gospel to the world in such a way that they see the truth of what we are saying, the rationale of what we are saying, and that they will be brought over. But at the same time, if they have difficulties, we will journey with them. And this is where the synodal process is important. But it does not mean to say we should compromise our teaching so that the world will find it more acceptable. If that is the case, I think we are deceiving the world.
Right.
Back a few years ago, actually it was in 2023, 2 years ago actually, I was in Singapore and I went to communion in the cathedral of Cardinal Goh's Cathedral in Singapore. Not that it's a big, it's one big city, one big diocese. And I went up for communion and they refused me communion on the tongue. I said, that's okay. And I suppose I blogged about it at the time. I thought it was very sad that they weren't allowed people receive communion on the tongue. And a few weeks later, somebody from Singapore that follows my channel, they sent me on a letter. He said, Robert, did you not see what the Cardinal in Singapore has issued? He issued a letter that we should never refuse somebody communion if they want it on the tongue, blah, blah, blah. And I was really impressed by this Cardinal that he would actually take the time to write a letter and remind Catholics that the norm in the Catholic Church is communion on the tongue, and that communion on the hand is a special permission. It's an indult. He was very clear on teaching in that letter. So I have the highest respect for Cardinal Goh. I don't know if he saw my video when I was in Singapore or not, but he wrote a letter to all his priests reminding them that you should never refuse a Catholic who wants to receive communion on the tongue kneeling, you should never refuse them. So, in this recent video that he gave in EWTN, to say that cardinals and bishops are confused, I couldn't believe my ears when he heard that cardinals and bishops are confused. The pastors in the church are confused. I suppose this is what Bishop Strickland has been saying for a while, and we've seen him struggle, and some people said, look, he shouldn't have done that conference where he read out a letter calling the Pope a usurper, that it wasn't good for a bishop to do this. But at least you saw a man there trying to stand up for what was the faith. He wasn't confused. And now, after Pope Francis has died, we have Cardinal Goh in Rome giving an interview saying that during the papacy of Pope Francis, cardinals and bishops were confused. Even cardinals nominated by Pope Francis on basic issues. Wasn't this what we've been saying for a long time? I was pretty clear on fiducia supplicans. Confusion. Pretty clear at the time. Anyway, brilliant intervention by Cardinal Goh, and I'm glad that he has given it, and hopefully it will make our church leaders think. God bless you. Take care. Bye bye.